So Uncle Sam is going after his own right now, going into the July 4th Independence Day holiday weekend. What am I talking about? Folks, I'm talking about this new IRS letter that we're seeing. It's IRS Notice LT36. What is this? This is a notice that the IRS is specifically sending to current and retired federal employees whom the IRS believes are not in compliance with their federal income tax obligations. So I'm going to go through this notice LT36 part by part. I'm going to tell you what you should do if you receive this notice LT36. But first, I'm just going to tell you what it is and why the IRS sent you this. So what is this? Like I said, this is basically just a notification to current or retired federal employees. The IRS has identified 525,000 current or retired federal employees who have an outstanding tax issue. Okay, so this is a notification, right? Now, why would the government single out federal employees in particular, right? Why are they singling them out? Well, in the United States Code of Federal, in the U.S. regs, okay, there's a part of the Code of Federal Regulations called Standards of Ethical Conduct for Employees of the Executive Branch, okay? And in here, basically, it's basically saying, hey, look, if you're a federal employee, you should be a model citizen, okay? And one of the things that you should do as a model citizen is that you shall satisfy in good faith their obligations as citizens, including all just financial obligations, especially those that are imposed by law, such as federal, state, or local taxes. Okay? So what this is kind of getting at is, look, yes, everybody has an obligation to fulfill their tax obligations under the law. Okay? But you, as someone who's part of the federal government, you are kind of held to this even higher standard, right? As a citizen who should at least be in compliance with their tax obligations. So that's what's kind of resonating behind this. That's the context here. So that's what this is and why the IRS is sending it. Okay. Now, so they're sending out about 525,000 of these right now. Okay. Current or retired federal employees who are non-compliant with respect to their federal tax obligations as of April 30th. It took them a couple months to send this out. I'm recording this on July 3rd, and I'm looking at this notice that one of our newest clients got on June 23rd. And it's kind of interesting. It's kind of fun what they do here. They kind of butter them up a little bit, right? They kind of little flattery on here. We appreciate your service to the government and dedication to supporting the United States. As you know, everyone has a responsibility to pay their taxes on a timely basis, and current or retired federal employees should also lead by example. We expect you to resolve this matter promptly. Okay. It's not threatening, right? It's not threatening. This isn't, a levy notice or something like that. But, because we've seen kind of similar things before where they're targeting a very specific crowd. I wouldn't be surprised if you're a recipient of this LT36, if the IRS doesn't start getting fairly nasty soon about you addressing this tax issue. Okay. But again, this in and of itself is not a threatening notice. Okay. It's almost kind of like, it's like a guilt trip notice. I think that's how I'd want to kind of call it. It's kind of guilt tripping you because you as a federal employee are not compliant with your tax obligations. Don't get me wrong. You should take this notice seriously. It's probably kind of a premonition of things to come, right? If the IRS went out of its way to identify the 525,000 current or retired federal employees who are out of compliance with their federal tax obligations, okay, they're probably going to do more, right? If they went through the trouble of singling out this 525,000, designing this new letter, this new notice, sending them the notice, right? The expectation here is that you will take action to deal with this issue. Now, they gave you the number. It's hard to reach anybody here. Please understand that we will follow up with you directly if these obligations are not timely resolved, right? So and this isn't a threat, of course, but they're saying, hey, look, fix this, or we're probably going to start taking matters into our own hands. There's no specific threat here. It's kind of vague and slightly ominous, right? We will follow it with you directly. So, take this as a warning, right? As a warning, not a threat. It's a warning. And then they remind you down here, Congress has mandated that federal employees serve as stewards of the law. And under the set part of the Code of Federal Regulations we just looked at, federal employees shall satisfy in good faith their obligations as citizens, including all just financial obligations, especially those such as federal, state, or local taxes that are imposed by law. Okay? So that's kind of the guilt trip up here. What the IRS says you should do or you need to do immediately, right? Well, it says you can create an online account so you can see exactly how you're out of compliance, right? You'll notice this notice here. It doesn't. Some notices they spell out for you in pages and pages, and pages. This is how much tax you owe, and here's the penalties, and here's the interest, and here's the interest calculation by quarter, right? There's none of that really here, right? It's just a one-page reminder. Hey, you're a current or retired federal employee, and you have some tax issue with us. Fix them. Right, so it talks about the online account, and of course what the IRS wants you to do is pay your balance immediately online, right? It shows you the link. You can go for payments, and you can also pay all these other ways, down here. Great. Now, let me tell you this. You get this notice. It doesn't necessarily mean you absolutely must positively right now sell everything and pay your balance online, whatever you owe the IRS. There are solutions, yes, even if you're a federal employee. And I'm going to talk about what you should do if you got this notice in a little bit. But first, just to wrap up this notice, if we make a mistake, if you believe this notice was sent in error, contact us at this number. Same number is up here. Good luck getting through. Good luck getting through. Okay, now I want to talk about what you should do if you received this notice. Well, like the notice said, make sure that it's correct, right? Make sure that you actually do have an outstanding federal tax obligation. Right? If this is news to you, if you thought you were just fine with Uncle Sam as far as taxes go, then I would recommend that you do. You could try to call the phone number, but good luck getting through. I would recommend you do set up an IRS online account. Right? There, it should tell you your outstanding tax returns, how much you currently owe, if you're in jeopardy of lien or levy. Wonderful, wonderful things. And the more you know, the easier it will be to overcome this issue. Okay, so first of all, figure out exactly what is the issue here. What is the outstanding tax obligation that you have? Now, let me be the first to say that, look, if you have plenty of money to live off of, right, and compared to that stack of money you have, your tax obligation is relatively small, pay it off. Just pay it off. They're probably, they may agree to some kind of installment agreement, maybe, but you're probably better off just paying it off, save yourself some penalties and interest. Now, I know for many people that's not possible. Okay, that's not possible. So I would say if you can't just pay this off right now, you got to figure out what your options are. Okay, you've got to figure out what your options are. Now, 3 major tax relief options, and this is for federal employees or non-federal employees. Number 1 is the offer in compromise. This is an agreement with the government to sell your tax debt for less than you owe. Number 2 is hardship status or a hardship-based installment agreement of some sort, or CNC status. This is all kind of grouped under hardship, right? And with that, you're basically telling the IRS, yeah, I know we owe you this much, but we can't afford to pay you at all, anything right now, or we can only afford to pay you a very small amount compared to how much the debt is. We can only pay you a pretty small amount every month. That's called a partial payment installment agreement. And the third option is a full payment installment agreement, right? Where you're gonna negotiate with the IRS and say, yeah, look, I have the means to pay this off, but it's gonna take me some time, probably more time than the IRS initially wants to give you. Okay, so these are the major tax relief options. There's also penalty abatement, of course, but these are the major tax relief options that are available to you, whether you're a federal employee or not. Okay, so the solution here is similar to the solution for any other tax problem. 1, diagnose the problem, make sure you understand what's going on, and 2, set up a game plan. Right, figure out what your game plan is for this tax issue. If you owe the IRS at least $10,000, right, and you got this notice, and you're a federal employee, you qualify for a free consultation with us. Okay, so please give us a call, 866-8000-TAX. It's 866-8000-829. Or you can go to choicetaxrelief.com, fill out the form on the website. We'll reach out to you. Okay. I think I have some. No, I don't. I thought I had some other videos about employees, federal employees who owe tax, but I don't think those have been published yet. In any event, I have on the upper left-hand corner of the screen my video that goes over the 3 major tax relief programs I just described. If you're interested in learning more about those, feel free to click it. And also, if you qualify for a free consultation, go ahead and book one with us. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.